Star of sitcoms Happy Days and Charles in Charge. Big fan of yours. Scott, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, we grew up in the same neighborhood, Maria. This is fantastic for me.
We did.
Thanks for letting me be on.
We did, and I love having you. So, Scott, it's interesting to see the endorsement for Donald Trump. Tell me first what's behind it. Why do you think he's your guy?
Well, I like his proposals on reforming the tax code, building the wall, immigration, repealing Obamacare, dropping the corporate tax rate down, so bring some of that money back that's out of the country back into the country. I think he's a straight shooter when he talks to me. When he talks, I understand him. I know it's like the way you and I grew up. It's a very sort of direct language, which I don't need a political decoder ring to understand what the guy is saying. And I think most importantly, Maria, for me, and I'm not discounting Ted Cruz or John Kasich, and I like them both, but Donald Trump is the only guy I think that has the will and the nerve to attack and to fight back, because we have this mentality. The Republican Party, which I try not to associate myself with anymore, because I think they're very untrustworthy on almost every issue. We always seem to have this mentality. They seem to have this mentality that they don't want to get down in the dirt. They want to be above the fray, and because they want to be perceived as nice, and they get killed.
And
so
then
at a certain point, sorry.
And then nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done, and they lose elections because they don't want to fight. When you fight, you fight to win, and they don't ever want to fight, and I can't understand it.
You know, it's interesting because the way you're speaking, you seem to be the exact person. I mean, that is the mentality of the support behind Donald Trump. You were conservative or Republican, however you want to say it, but then you became alienated because you were getting rolled over, like so many others within the party who felt like they believed the establishment, and then they never really saw anything impact their lives that they thought they were going to see.
Right, Maria, I consider myself a conservative independent now.
Yeah.
And listen, it's by their own doing. Give us the House so we can stop certain things. Okay, in 2010 they get the House. Well, we really need the Senate, and we'll stop everything, and we give them the Senate. Nothing.
Yeah.
And not only nothing, but they just roll over and go along with the entire program of the Obama administration. And what's the point? What's the point in having an election? What's the point in saying something and doing a complete 180 on it? Well, I know what the point is, but that's what they do. They do complete 180s.
How much of this do you think is because of President Obama, though? Because when you consider the fact that when he first came into office, he had both houses, and during that time, he pushed through Obamacare. He pushed through things through executive power. And the Republicans, even though they talked about fighting back, they really didn't have any leverage in that moment in time. But you're right, when they got the House, you thought that a lot of things would change. You thought at least bills would get to the president's desk, and they didn't.
Well, so do I blame Obama? No, I don't blame Obama. Obama's doing, in my opinion, Obama is one of the most successful presidents we've ever had.
He's done everything he said he would do.
Right. And the Republicans' job as the party that can fight him on it didn't want to fight him on anything, so I don't blame Obama.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with anything the guy does, but the Republicans had every opportunity to stop him and just laid down.
Yeah, I think you make some great points. You know, the truth is the Republican Party is going through either a revolution or is about to go through a revolution. Do you think they can get that leadership back? Can they get a Scott Baio back into their corner? You know, how do they do that?
It's so easy. Do what you say you're going to do. Stand up for conservative principles. Fight for them. Mm-hmm. Go after people for them. I mean, this is the country.
Yeah.
This is the country that we grew up in. Now there's certain traditions that I hold dear and certain values that I cherish, and they're just being eroded every day. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't seem, and it seems like their lives are fine in Washington. And I got a lot of friends of mine who are not in the entertainment business, who are hurting a little bit, and don't understand why the erosion of traditional values in this country are just it just happens second by second, and nobody seems to care in the Republican Party. And forget policy. I mean, policy is a whole other issue. They don't. We're gonna stop Obamacare. We're gonna fund it. we're going to stop the executive amnesty, and they give it money.
Yeah.
And it's just one thing after the other. So to get me back, you got to be a man and do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, and we just saw that. We
Whatever.
just saw that with the omnibus, right? I mean, so many things in that most recent budget, people felt that the Republicans got rolled over. Let me ask you this. I mean,
So they got rolled? They get rolled on everything, Maria. On every single issue, they get rolled.
It's unfortunate, and that is what created, the support around Donald Trump. I totally agree. So it doesn't bother you that he may not have the substance on foreign policy. I mean, and I don't know because we don't hear him talk about it. It doesn't bother you that he doesn't have true conservative, down to the bone conservative principles, like, for example, the Planned Parenthood situation. I mean, it sounds like what's most important to you are things like tax reform, which I agree would be a huge thing if they actually could get that done. That would be a huge impact to the economy.
The only person I agree with 100% on everything is me.
Yep.
And I'm not running for president. So, nobody is perfect except for me and my beliefs. But yeah, I mean, there's certain give and take. And is he a conservative on foreign policy? I think he's a friend to Israel, which I like.
I like it too. Yeah, you're right. That's true.
And foreign policy. Now, listen, you want to have this conversation? Did Obama know foreign policy? Who knows? Foreign policy, you get the best minds in there. And then at the end of the day, you do what you think is right. Mm-hmm. You don't bow to the will of advisors and the people in the country. If you do something that you want to do, you think is right, and it's a conservative position, in my opinion, you go for it. I mean, that's what Reagan did. I mean, you remember the story. Reagan fired all the air traffic controllers, and nobody wanted to do that, but he was a man and he did it. And it was a huge move for him.
Yeah, it's a great point. So does it upset you that we may go into a contested convention, or do you think Trump will get the delegates necessary?
I'm sure they'll screw it up somehow. I'm sure they'll do something to piss everybody off. I'd bet the farm on it.
Wow.
So I don't know how the rules work, and I'm sure they'll probably change the rules. I just read an article where they're thinking of changing the rules now. So with a contested convention, I don't know.
Good to talk with you, sir.
A pleasure, Maria.
We got to get together when you come back to New York. So funny that we grew up a few blocks away from each other.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Me too. I'll see you soon. Scott Baio joining us
Goodbye.
right there.
Thank you.